And welcome to our second video tutorial on AppLab, and in this one we're going to look at some simple programming and the use of events. So I've done a little bit of work on my app already. You can see I've got a home screen set up and a second screen set up, and I've put a couple of demonstration buttons on there already. And what I'm going to do is show you how to create events. We're going to look at it from the point of view of simply using the drag and drop interface and a little look at what it looks like as code, but I think I'll do something separate for people that are interested in coding in that way later on. But here we are. So this is what I would want to do if I was going to create some code. All of these buttons I've got here will work, but if I want to make them work, I actually need to add code to them. They won't work unless they have. So at the moment you can see my Go Home app doesn't function when I click on it. So let's have a look then at that one to start with. So screen 2. If I want to add some text, or sorry, if I want to add an event to this, if I actually double click on the button itself, and then I get properties, and the properties box up as before, but then you'll also notice next to it is an events tab. So I click on the events tab, and this is where I can program or connect an event to a button or an object. So in this case it says click, triggered when the button is clicked with a mouse or tapped on a screen. So it means when I click on here I can put some code in that will trigger something happening. So I'm going to put insert and show code, and what it's done is it's just added these 3 blocks here. Don't worry about these are from some things I've already added, but you can see what we've got here. We've got something called on event. So on event, home, click, function event. So what this basically is here, this bit is an event listener. So it's waiting for an event to happen, and then it will respond to that event. And in this case, the event is going to be the home button being clicked. So you notice as well, what I could do is I could click in there and I could select any of my elements that I've ID'd and have it respond to any of those. That's one of the reasons why I said it was important to label our elements and give them IDs. So what I want it to do is when it clicks on the event of you clicking home, and it's click home, but notice I could have also change mouse over, mouse up, mouse down, so you could have other ways of interacting with your elements on the screen. When it's home, click, and then within this green block here is where my code will go that I actually want to take place, that I actually want to run when the button is clicked. So you can see here at the moment it says something called console log, and all that is a really useful little function where it tells you down here what your code has just done and that something's happening. It's just useful if you have errors later on to picking up where they are. So let's actually try and add something, because at the moment all it's going to do is tell you that you've clicked the button. So if I run this code, click here to start, and I go home, nothing happens. It just tells me that I've clicked home. So I need to actually put something in there to make it work. So I'm going to look in these boxes up in it, and you're probably familiar with this kind of thing from scratch, whereas different colour blocks mean different things. And I'm going to go to the UI controls. I'm going to do quite a lot in the UI controls. I'm going to scroll down, and you can see straight away there is the block there called set screen. Now if I drag set screen and put it onto my screen, I can program this to set the screen of the app to any of the screens I've set up. Now at the moment it's in the wrong place. I don't want it to be outside here, I want it to be inside here, so that is triggered. So that line of code is triggered by this function here. So if I put it outside, it's going to happen without me clicking the button, or it's not going to happen in there, which isn't what I want. So I'm going to put that back in there, and if I click home, what I want it to do is go back to my home screen like that. So if I reset the app, let's run it. So if I click here to start and then go home, it now takes me back, and I've done that just simply using those little blocks of code there. So your first job really is to start setting up your navigation box, any buttons that you've got, and you should only have a couple of those, I would have thought. When you've added your buttons, we can look at the process of adding the instruments. So if you look here, I've already got one of mine set up, my snare drum, and we'll look at how to set that up and get it working in our next video. Bye for now.